The next song that I'll dive into is the second song off of Taurus Tales, which is What You Wanna Be. And this was actually the first song that I completely realized for the EP as part of a class project. And listening back to that demo version from the class, I actually sped it up a good bit for the EP, and I think it really helped it. Check it out. So this is the first song that I wrote for the EP, and knowing the general direction that I wanted to go for the songs on Taurus Tales, this was my first attempt to really make a song with a bit more broader appeal than my usual songs have. So after checking out a bunch of different pop and indie songs for inspiration, I started trying to write a bass riff that would be the real hook of the song. I went through a ton of different variations before landing on the riff that's in the final version. I also knew in writing this song that I was definitely going to try to have wordier verses and then less wordy, more held out notes with the choruses. In making this the most pop song on the EP, it also has the most layering in terms of synths. And even though I do feel that this is the most successfully indie pop song that I made for Taurus Tales, there is still a bit too much prevalent guitar in it to really feel like a modern pop song. Along with that, a big part of my struggle to write this song was the bridge section, which is usually for a normal rock artist like myself, where you would throw in a solo or some kind of instrumental breakdown that features some more technical work. And in the first version of the song, you can even hear that the bridge was just a straight up guitar solo, along with that bass riff under it. But again, I kept trying to push myself to make it a little bit more pop, a little bit more dancey, and so I ultimately tried to imitate some kind of turntable style, which took a bit of effort with a mix of sampling and getting a scratch plugin off of the internet and kind of layering those two together, which I'll show you soon. Overall, instrumentally though, it is fairly simple. It all revolves around the bass. Even the chord progression of the chorus came from just me playing the bass and getting it a little bit more simple and having the chords follow that. And most of the work is in just mimicking the bass line or adding layers to the chords or things like that, along with, again, a lot of focus on the lyrics and the melody. Lyrically, it's most similar in its theme to Borrowed Voices, with the primary theme of this song being trying to be someone that you're not, which, this being the first song from my writing process of Taurus Tales, definitely helped to convey my feelings of trying to write in a genre that wasn't really mine or that I wasn't really comfortable with. It's very much a song about needing to find yourself and find your inspiration before you can go out and really give it your all. Going into the session, this is the only song off the EP where I actually used that room mic for the drums because I wanted to push a little more of that live indie type of sound that a lot of modern indie pop songs have. And to go along with that, this is the only song on the EP to use all 4 of the bass tracks to try to really fill out and make the bass sound poppy and a little bit fuzzy, but not too heavy. As I began to mix down the guitar, I realized that I wanted to keep the really reverby, sharp guitar going, but I didn't want it to go the whole time, which is when I developed that call and response thing that you hear in the verses. This is another song that features that subtle rhythmic acoustic that I talked about in my Borrowed Voices video. As I said, this is the song with the most MIDI stuff going on to really try to fill it out, so check out some of the different layers that I have here. Finally, I knew that clean vocals would not be the way to go for this song from the very beginning. I wanted to make them pretty heavily affected with a couple different effects, a lot of delay, some pretty obvious kind of tuning chorus type of sound. And you hear most of that in the verses.
Your hands up high, but you're walking on shaky legs and dirty boots.
The chorus, ironically, has less of that chorus effect sound, but does have a bit more reverb to make it as full as possible.
So dream what you wanna dream.
And then looking at the breakdown, as I said earlier, it's a mixture of a couple different things. Along with the bass and drum groove going on in the back, you have the sampled What You Wanna Be's, which I put some plugins on and tried to make it seem real dirty and a little bit vintage. I then recorded some scratches and a plugin outside of Pro Tools and brought it into here and just layered it on top basically. And then as a final touch, I have that really far away verby dream going on in the background.